So what if you wanted to create a page that is just a page of content, like you have some resources that you want to share with folks, or you have just some kind of content you want to share, but it's not a news article and it's not, it's needs to be just something that you could post up there. That's when you could create your own page. And it's very similar, actually, it's identical to creating a news article. So we'll go through that. But here's step by step on how to do it, and which we're going to go through. And then also you have the ability to save as draft, like we talked about before. You can save pages as templates. So if you have a layout that you're going to use over and over again, you can set it up and say, this is a template. And then the next person that creates a page can choose that as a template and just update the content, photos, etc. And then you can also copy a page that already exists and just start from there. If there's a page you already that's 90% there, you can just copy it and create a new one. And that'll give you new copy of this page, or by saying new copy of this page from the page you want to copy. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new page here. We're going to say, instead of new news poster link, I'm going to say new page. And like I said, it's very similar to creating a news article. You pick what template you want. And this is where, if you had created your own custom template, it would show up on this list for you. So you can have like, HR template 1 or whatever it might be. So I'm going to start with the visual template here and say, create the page. And it just does that. It creates the template just like it showed. It has the banner at the top, some text and image, another big image, some more text, and a nice little image down here. Note that even on this page, there's comments. So every time you create a page, you'll want to decide or a news article or a page, you want to decide if you want to have comments on or off. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this page. I'm already in edit mode. So just like we did before, I can change the title area the way I want it. I can change the image any way I want it. I can come down here, rearrange the items any way I want. I can, if I wanted to throw some new block of text over here in this section, I could say text and just start typing. Hello. This text is all editable, like rich text format, so you can put in links, you can make things bold, you can turn it into a link to google.com if you wanted to, and say save. So now it becomes a link. So basic editing here. I'm sure you guys have done a lot of stuff like this before, but very simple to do. You can, if you said I didn't want this picture, you can just click on it, delete that web part, it's gone. And then you can delete the whole section if you needed to. Boom, it's gone. So you can see there's a lot that you can do here. It's very, very flexible, very easy to do. And on this page here, we give you details on step-by-step how to get there. And then article from Microsoft with a lot of details on how to do this, fun things you can do, and details on all the different web parts. So when you click on this plus here, it gives you details on all of these. What do these all mean? Like highlighted content where you can call out, point to certain documents or whatever in your site. You can add a button that's just literally a button that points to another site, some maps, other fun things that you could put in here. Kindle Instant Preview, I've never played with that one. But there's a bunch of them here that, the Twitter stream that you can put in. So that article that we link to in that will give you details on every single one of these and how to use them and the different things that can be done. So once I've set up my page, and with the page too, I can audience target the page if I like. I can change the thumbnail. I can do a few other things with here. I can then save as draft, and then I can publish the page. So I'm going to go ahead and add the name for the page. Otherwise, it's going to name it as this weird VA12X or whatever. But I'm going to say demo page. Let's call it that. And when I publish it, you will see now the URL says I'm now at demo page. And it gives me some options to do here, like add to navigation or post it as news on the site or email. Now, some of these things you will not have ability to do because you're not as the site owner. So like adding to the page navigation, you wouldn't be able to do that. If this is a site that you did want to add to the navigation, you could copy this address and then send it to Alex's team, and they would be able to come in here, edit this menu, and add the link to it here for you wherever you wanted. And we can put folders in here. As you saw on the main page, we can have folders, and you can also audience target it so that only certain folks can actually see that if you needed to.
So that's an important point. There is the main difference between creating a news post and creating a page is the way that it gets published or shared. So if you start by creating a news post, you just hit the publish button and that article, that page automatically starts showing up in the news feed. If you create a page, that's usually because you want to create something that's going to be a more permanent web page than a news article, and you have to plan for how your site visitors are going to get to that page. So either by adding, asking that it be added to the site navigation, or you can put the link to your page in the hero web part on your home page, or you can put the link to that page anywhere else on this page or other pages that make sense. You do need to plan for it.
So I see. So you can see I could just added the link here. That's just a simple way you can do it. There's other ways to. There's many ways to share it. But Ingrid is right. There's no. If you create a page and it's what's the sound of if a tree falls in the forest? Does anybody hear it? Same kind of thing. You have to figure out some way for people to get to it. And to give you an example of the audience targeting here, if I click on edit, you'll see that there's many more options here that I'm not seeing because I'm not part of these groups. I just kind of made myself like some of these available to me just for demo purposes. But you can see there's a huge amount of menu items here that are just not available to me. And that could be the same thing. You can target them to whoever you need to, and that way it's not that you're trying to, it's not security, it's not trying to keep the people out. It's more of like, this isn't of any interest to faculty, this isn't any interest to students. We don't need to show it to them and muddy up their feed there. So okay, so we've gone through, and you can see our human resources story came through. Let's see if the other one came through also under see all here. Nope, the stress one has not come through yet. We'll see what that's going on. So are there any questions about anything we've covered here so far?
I have a quick question. When you go to the main portal page, you have your featured items. I don't know if I missed it, but is it the most recent item that's published gets the featured item, or what takes priority in terms of featured items?
Right. So as by default, it'll be the most recent item will show up there. So if you publish this and then 2 minutes later somebody else publishes a story, it can get pushed down. From the see all, the users can see them all. And if there is one that absolutely is important and needs to be pinned for some reason, the web admin team can pin that story to the top here so that it always remains there. And same thing on your page. If we go back to human resources, on your page here, this one's going to always show the most recent. But if we edit this, and there's directions on this in the PDF or the PowerPoint we're going to send you that has you just click to the article. But from down here, you can actually organize the news to be in a specific order if you wanted. If you didn't want it to be in the actual most recent order, you can put it in any order you want.
Okay.
And yeah, and then there's a bunch of different things you can do here, and I would recommend coming in and trying all these different pieces that and see how they fit and see which ones you like the most. It's absolutely up to you how to do all that. Okay. All right, have a great day, everyone.